All right, and we're live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us back on another episode of Skewed Reality. I'm Omar, and I'll be acting as your stand-in host for today. For today, we have Daniel himself, the man behind this whole thing.
It's not that big of a thing.
All right, Daniel. Your videos are averaging, let's say, 40 plus views?
I'd say 40-ish views. I mean, our first one, we're over 90. I think we're about at 100. Johnny's like at 70-ish. Cody's at 60-ish. 50-ish for Zach. 40-ish. So I'd say actually over.
So let's just say on average 40 plus.
40 plus, yeah.
Okay, and how many of those people do you think you know? Because let's be honest, you probably don't have more than 5 friends.
Yeah, let's be honest. You, Zach, Andres. The people I've had on act like my friends, but they're not. No.
Yeah, that's why, I came up to you and had this idea. Let's have you on the podcast. I can come here, ask you a couple questions. So, the people that, accidentally click on this or start watching you and, so they can get to know more about you.
That's a good point. That's actually not bad. I think I probably know most of them, but I don't think I know all of them. That's for sure. Because I'm pretty sure like maybe Cody's friends logged on and were like, "Oh, what's this about?" Or like Cody said, "Hey, yeah, I'm on the podcast. Why don't y'all watch it?" So on and so forth. Same with Rosa. There was actually we had a mutual friend, and she messaged me out of nowhere. It was like, "How do you know her?" I was like, "How the hell do you know her?" And then come to find out, like she works with her or something. So I mean, I'd say probably like 50 to 70 people I know. 70% I know.
So in the back of my head, I'm like, what would be the best way people can get to know Daniel? Let's get him on the podcast and let him answer some random questions and inappropriate questions.
I still can't believe you've actually written down that many ideas.
Well, some of these I got, and some of these I actually asked people to give me questions.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So some of these questions I just wrote them down.
Yeah.
So this is how it's gonna work. Yeah. I have a list of questions that I'm gonna ask you, random order. Yeah. Some of them I got them from the interweb, and some of these, and some of these, people I asked, what would you ask Daniel? Don't worry, your name won't be so. You don't
okay. So I don't know who it is.
So you don't know who it is.
One of those I'm gonna be like, that's Miguel, that motherfucker. That bitch is that. I bet that's him. No, but yeah, cool.
Some of these questions you may not want to answer. And that's why
I'm gonna try and be as answering all of them as I can because
yeah, that's the goal, for you to answer every question. But if there's a question you don't want to answer,
plead the fifth.
No, being as one of those 5 friends you have, that's why I brought these.
Oh shit! Oh no! If I don't answer, I have to take a drink.
Yes, you have to take a shot. So the goal is for you not to touch one, but there may be a question you don't feel too comfortable with answering. Yeah. So you'll be like. So you have to take a shot if you don't want to answer the question.
That sucks.
Either
push that away. That's why you told me before the podcast. Omar told me, he's like, "I hope you ate something." I was like, "Yeah, I'll eat something beforehand." That's why.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, part of me was like, you know what? Let's get Daniel drunk on the podcast. But no, I didn't want chunks all over me. So we'll start with the first question. What do you do for a living?
Mechanical engineer. And I actually just started a business after Zach came on the podcast. Mm-hmm. He mentioned what you can use your computers for to make money with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. So I actually just started a business with 2 of my friends, Zach and Cody. Zach hasn't been on the podcast, but he was scheduled. He'll be coming on eventually. Cody was number 3. He was the entrepreneur. Okay. So obviously starting a business, he was all for. And so we just started mining cryptocurrency, and it's actually doing pretty well.
And what do you do for the people that don't know what mining is?
Mining cryptocurrencies. So we're solving complex algorithms, and they come in giant batches.
Or somebody?
The computer.
Okay.
The computer, we're basically renting our processing power out to a third party. So they log into our computer. We basically empty out our computer so there's no private information. And they utilize our processing power. And the best way I can understand it is we get an algorithm and we iteration.
Like a problem.
Yeah, basically a very complex problem, and only a computer could solve it within this allotted amount of time. And once you solve that algorithm, your reward is a portion of that cryptocurrency, whatever you're mining for.
Whatever it's solved.
But the way we do it is our reward is paid out in portions of Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That sounds interesting.
We could be mining for Ethereum.
So you're basically just making money without you having to do anything.
Yep, don't have to do a thing. And so it was a combination of Cody's podcast and Zach's podcast, which is why I came up with the idea and like pitched it to my friends. It was because Cody said when you can go to sleep and still make money, or when you can not be there and still make money, that's the dream job. And then Zach mentioned, you just press play and you're not doing anything and you're making money. And I was like, boom, I'm going to make money. I bought the computer 2 days later and I started mining within a week.
Oh, so you're a mechanical engineer and you're mining Bitcoin on the side.
Yep. And maybe I might be starting another business with a friend, but we'll see.
Okay.
We're not sure what it's going to be yet, so I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know.
All right. What would have been your second profession?
I would have been a surgeon.
100%. A surgeon?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
Because
you're not the first person to tell me this. That's why I'm like intrigued of why be a surgeon.
Oh, I don't know. I just always thought it was really cool. I watched obviously it's nothing like that, but when I watched Scrubs, I was like Turk.
Yo, that was my favorite episode. That Turk, I rewatched that. That's good. I hated when they took it off Netflix.
Yeah, but so be it. But yeah, but I always like the idea of being a doctor. I think it's a far more rewarding job. Actually, now that I'm in mechanical engineering, part of me wishes I'd go back and actually become a doctor, become a surgeon, because there's so much more you have to offer to the world, to people in general. Because I mean, I was in the emergency room a couple months ago, and I got that big fat bill, and I have insurance, and it was still huge, and I'm like, man, there's got to be a better method to this. So maybe if I understood the medical field, there's something I can do with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any pets?
Oh yeah, I got 2. I had 3, but we had to put one down recently. His name was Wiser. I had Bud and Wiser. My dad named him. And so they were great together, but Wiser just had a condition where like fluid swelled up and put too much pressure on his heart, and he eventually couldn't do anything, so we had to put him down. But Bud is a tiny little mutt. He's just basically like a fat chihuahua, but he's bigger than a chihuahua, but he's definitely a chihuahua in some portion. And then I got a Siberian Husky, Titus. He is the man. He goes to work with me, and he was supposed to become a therapy dog, but I kind of stopped that. He's just really well trained. Like, I walk him everywhere without a leash. He's wonderful. Everybody loves him that meets him. I don't think I've ever met a person that was not fan of him.
Yeah, I was just playing with him. He's awesome. Something else. Oh, biggest fear.
Shit, I don't know. This sounds lame. Obviously, like, I have a fear of like spiders. I don't like spiders at all. But the biggest fear is being put in a situation where I can't handle it.
So you're basically not being in control? For
lack of better words, yeah. Because I'm one of those, like, it's one of, I don't know if it's OCD or it's something that makes me anxious. And maybe it's part of me that's on the spectrum, of autism and all that. I'm not autistic, but, everybody has a spectrum-like quality about them. And mine is, when you have a plan and it doesn't go to plan, I get extremely anxious. I had like a panic attack when a flight was delayed from Atlanta to Chattanooga. It was the worst 30-minute flight in my life.
Oh God.
Oh, I was sweating bullets. I almost called my dad to come get me in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta.
Well, can you just be simple? My biggest fear is open water. I
love it.
No, just float there. Just thinking being in the middle of the ocean, just not being able to not being able to see what's underneath you. It's after a while, it's just pitch black. It just freaks me out.
Here's one. I'm not a religious person, but whenever I watch a scary movie that has religion and demons about it, no. Sorry, I can't handle it.
Oh, no, neither do I. If we're ever, like, I don't know if you've seen The Mist, in one of those, the religious cuckoos, nope.
This is God coming down it.
Oh, no. As soon as somebody starts saying that, I'm running the other way. I'm like, nope, no. I'm out of here.
Well, yeah, I can't. And it's so weird because even though, like, I'm not religious, I find it really interesting for me to feel so uncomfortable about a religious item, like a negative concept of religion.
Yeah, definitely. It's the extremists that take it too far.
Yeah,
just thinking about that. Yeah,
it just makes me so uncomfortable. Like, I think, what was it? The devil within, demon within.
Yeah,
devil inside. Devil within, devil inside. at the end when the guy started quoting this, I was ooh, I don't like it.
You get chills down.
I get chills, and I'm just like, I gotta go out of this theater. I'm not, cause I'll have nightmares about that.
Did you finish the movie?
Yeah, I finished it all. Okay. But still, I was in the theater. I had to hold on. Didn't want to be the guy. That, oh, look at him.
Oh, what's the most embarrassing your parents have caught you doing?
I don't know. They haven't really caught me doing many embarrassing things. I don't really do many crazy things.
Yeah, I don't think.
Not when I was a kid.
No.
No, nothing. I can't even think of anything.
Daniel.
Yeah, I'm kind of not that embarrassing.
Oh, what's your funniest childhood memory?
Funniest childhood memory. I don't know.
You don't have one?
No, there's not one I can remember. I can always remember the happiest day
or
of my
something
life.
you did that just
made me bust out laughing.
Either that or just something funny happened to you.
Put on the spot. I can't really think of it. I can think of one story, and I'll go ahead and tell you. It's a bad one, so people deal with it. So I was really sick one time, and I was throwing up. It was pretty bad, but I was home by myself. I was throwing up, and then all of a sudden I had to take a dump. And I was like, fuck, I gotta throw up. So I started pooping, and then I pulled over, and then I threw up, and then I blew it onto the wall while I was sick. Oh, I forgot about that.
Did you clean it up?
Oh, yeah, of course I cleaned it up. I didn't want anybody to know about it. It definitely had, I felt like I could smell it wherever I went, though.
You hopefully used bleach on that.
Oh, yeah, I did. I shit on the wall, though. I shit on the wall in this house. I'm not going to tell people what wall. There was shit on the wall at one point. Oh, I know the most embarrassing moment. Okay, most embarrassing moment of my mom walking in on me because I was a kid. I was 4 years old, and I picked poop up, and I wiped it on the bathtub wall, and I was just like, hey, look at that.
I guess it's just you being a kid.
Yeah, it was me being a kid, so it really wasn't embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing to think about now, but...
Now you're talking about embarrassing, I think I was, 10 or 12. I saw my dog eating grass.
You eat grass?
And so, I wasn't thinking, the internet wasn't big back then, and I was thinking, why is my dog eating grass? Mm-hmm. So, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to try it.
You were 12?
I was 12, so I'm like, because I was just dead curious of
the age of discovery.
Yeah, I'm like, why is my dog eating grass?
He might know something I don't.
So I went ahead and tried some. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Man, but I tell you, maybe 30 minutes later, I was a chubby kid. That was the fastest I've ever ran to a bathroom.
Wait, did you throw up?
No, dude. I just dropped the biggest load in my life.
From eating grass? Do you think the grass was a contributing thing?
No, that was because then I figured. Then later on, I found out that dogs eat grass when they're sick, so it helps them poop.
Really?
Yes.
They always heard that they eat grass to help their digestion,
yeah,
but I never knew why.
Yeah, because they help them poop, man. So if you ever if you ever constipate, just go outside and just munch on some grass
or have some prunes.
Well, I mean, I didn't know.
This is the all natural way.
Yeah, it's vegan.
Vegan approved diuretic.
Oh, what are you most proud of?
Definitely getting my degree in mechanical engineering. 100%. Buying. Okay. A combination of things. Getting my degree as a mechanical engineer, graduating with Latin honors in that, buying a house before I was 25, and buying my dream truck the next year. And buying a motorcycle and riding with my dad. That was one of my childhood dreams. I want to get a motorcycle and ride with my dad. So cool. Now, me and my brothers, we all have motorcycles. I guess it's an accumulation of the last 4 years of hard work finally paying off.
Oh, dude, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, who are you closer to, your dad or your mom?
Depends on what you look at it. When I'm wanting nurture, loving, care, so on and so forth, easily my mom. Just because, I don't know, she's always been nurturing and caring just like a mother would be. But when it comes to advice, I know someone who's going to guide me in the right direction. I definitely lean towards my dad. Okay,
so you do a little both. Then.
Yeah, it's definitely an even mixture, but depending on what you look at.
What situation basically you're in.
Yeah, if I'm sad something, I'm going to call my mom. If I'm in a crossroads in my life, I'm definitely going to call my dad because he's going to probably just
Won't sugarcoat it.
He's not gonna sugarcoat it or nothing. He's just gonna mention one aspect. Is like, hey man, you told me this like 3 years ago. Not saying you should do this, but that, and it'll kind of knock me into my. I was like, oh, I might want this right now, but this is the better choice. It's like which he's gonna recognize the need I'm trying to fill.
Do you think the advice he gave you in the past helped you get to where you are today?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was because of Zach Moody and my dad why I'm a mechanical engineer today. Zach mentioned the mechanical engineering side of things, and my dad actually places engineers for a living. He told me about it, and I followed one of his friends, I think, or something like that, and it was just too cool. This just cool stuff. When you go to a real engineering facility where there's welding, grinding, big structures being put together, an accumulation of all of these assemblies to make one complex unit, it's incredible.
Yeah, when you think about everything going together.
I mean, manufacturing this microphone, watching the assembly line for that microphone, I bet is the coolest thing in the world, because you see all these intricate machines moving at precise motions, putting the most intricate touch onto this metal piece, screwing in this tiny screw, all automatically was created by a team of engineers that figured out how do we need to time this screw to hit this bolt. I mean, this screwdriver to hit this bolt to screw this piece together.
But wouldn't that be help with the programmers as well?
Yeah. It's a combination of everybody.
Okay.
Like, the engineers had to figure out the...
So you're talking about engineers on a whole then?
Yeah, when I say engineers, I mean a whole assembly of engineers. The industrial engineer that organizes
your computer
not even that. An industrial engineer actually organizes the layout of who works when, how the process flow actually is.
Okay.
The programming engineer clearly is going to program the computer to make this actuating motion by sending electrical impulses based off of readings. The mechanical is going to calculate the stroke that the machine needs to make, the motion it needs to make. The electrical is going to figure out how much power is it going to take to get that motion there for the programming to work, to get that stroke, to get this process flow to work right. And the chemical engineer is going to apply whatever sort of chemical works to that.
And now you think about it, man, there's something basic as, like you said, a microphone takes...
This filling up this bottle. I mean, watching a soda plant work is so cool. It's so cool because they spin these bottles, come in, like figuring out how this bottle's made.
I've seen some, process. Like the 2-liter Cokes. They start off really small and they blow it up with
the most minimal amount of plastic, which they shouldn't be using plastic in the first place. But as of right now, it's the most optimal form of holding a liquid in a bottle right now, I guess.
Yeah,
but everything is engineering based. Everything, the way things are made is just so incredible.
How would you know when you've lived a fulfilled life? Yeah. How will you know if you have lived a full life? Yeah.
I think I'm just going to have to accept my life as it is. And if I'm like, sit there and like, oh, I didn't live a fulfilled life. It's like, well, it's going to be the end of my life at that most point. Do I want to die happy or regret?
Or when do you know that you're successful?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a better way. Like Cody said, when I'm sitting on my ass on a beach and I'm making money.
Really?
Not even doing anything. But
mine's more like, I define not having to worry about your next meal or being able to eat whatever you want. Let's say it's like you're craving steak. You don't have to worry about it. You can get steak. If you're craving...
That's a better way of looking at it.
Yeah, if you're craving, let's say, lobster, you can get lobster. So that's how...
The moment that your friends ask you out and you don't have to worry about it's like, I can't tonight, guys, I'm trying to save money. I still use that even though I'm trying to save money. I got to fix up the house. Like, I guess your take on it's a lot more appropriate.
Yeah, I'm like, if I can eat whatever I want, whenever I made it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I don't have to be rich or anything. If I'm well off, I'm as long as I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat.
Basically, if I have to buy anything that I need, if I can buy anything I need,
and I have to worry about it.
Car breaks down, don't worry, I got enough money in the bank. I'll just go out and buy a car tomorrow.
Or get it fixed.
Yeah, or get it fixed. I guess I was saying stole it now. Go buy a car tomorrow.
The brakes are squeaking. You better buy a new car.
I'll buy a new car tomorrow. I'm tired of these brakes squeaking.
All right, if Hollywood made a movie about your life, what would it be rated, and who would it be the star?
Man, that's a good question. Definitely be rated R. I cuss too much.
Really?
I cuss way too much. I've been working on it, but then again, I have like these extremely vulgar thoughts. Not like sexual or anything, but I think like just crazy shit that makes no sense.
No,
like
I believe
you,
that.
you can ask my coworkers.
No,
like,
I believe that.
You know when people say like, "Oh, but you mean like this?" I was like, "No, like this," and it's like a whole nother level. It's like you didn't have to take it there, man.
I took it.
I take it there. And then the star of it, I don't know. I think I'd like to say David Tennant. David Tennant. If people don't know Doctor Who, I'd say just because he's got a badass Scottish accent, and I like to think I could be a Scottish person. He's in Doctor Who. He's like the second most recent Doctor. He's actually like Doctor number 7.
I don't think people are gonna know what you're talking
They're
about.
They're not, but in Harry Potter. So everyone's seen Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. You have the guy that like licks his lips. He's like that and everything.
Oh, okay.
It was that guy.
The creepy one.
Yeah, the creepy one is me.
Okay.
He's a really cool. And Broadchurch, excellent show on Netflix, by the way. If people have not watched Broadchurch,
I don't think I've.
It's excellent.
What is it about?
It's about a detective just solving cases in a small town in England or Britain or something called Broadchurch.
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 Okay,
it's like a broad topic.
Yeah,
since church
since the training, I might have to take a look at it because.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good, and I watched it at Andres' house at one point. You'll recognize it if you were there. I don't remember if you were there. People don't know Andres, so.
Is it a show or is it?
It is a show.
Okay.
It's a show that happens on BBC. Okay. So that's why I wait till Netflix. It's a really good show, though. I love it.
So you recommend it then?
Yeah, definitely.
What would you guess your parents' favorite sexual position is?
Oh my God. Now that we're with two different people, it's probably changed. I'm going to say my dad's missionary, and same as my mom. I bet it's all missionary.
Simple. Just keeping it simple.
This is the way God wanted it. This is fucked up shit. They're not religious, dude, so I don't know. Oh, that one made me angry.
What makes you think that God made it like? What if God was like, doggy? You don't know, Daniel. It's
nature's way. Maybe God's more of a natural guy. He's like,
if you think about it, most animals, what do?
Doggy.
Exactly.
They call it doggy style. It should be called nature style.
Exactly.
Yeah. How's the cow do it? Nature style. Horse. They didn't call it horse style. They call it horse doggy style. Because then they're gonna start naming horses bird, and then it's not gonna make any sense.
Nature style.
Nature style. I'm gonna say that from now on.
Yeah, so nature style, you think?
Nature style. No, nature style is like doggy style for them, but no, I'm saying missionary for them. More traditionalists.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
I was surprised you answered that question.
I'm trying my best to refrain from taking these.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I would travel. There's two possible places. One, it would be Norway or Finland. I can't remember where it is, but it's called the Igloos, the Igloo Hotel, where I
think that's Norway.
I'm pretty sure it's Norway, but I'm sure Finland has a version of it. But the point is, you're in these glass domes, and each one's your own room. You have to walk in the snow to get to it. They have dog sledding there, all sorts of like outdoor snow activities. But at night, it's a glass dome. You're underneath the Aurora Borealis. And I bet it's just a spectacular sight. The second one, which is actually a possibility of me getting to go, so I'm really excited, is in Australia, in the desert. They have a 4x4 excursion where you drive these off-road vehicles through the desert to a most isolated region. And it is the least light-polluted region near a city as you can possibly be. And it's the best place you can view the Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, man, I've always dreamt of,
Yeah. I mean, we're the Milky Way galaxy, but you'll see
and watch the stars, just like all those stars.
They'd say it'd be amazing. Yeah, I guess it'd be tied for third. Third would be top of Mount Everest because I hear the quietness is deafening.
So is the oxygen.
Yeah. That's deafening. It's definitely the tie between those two places, though. Finland or Norway with the Igloo hotels, or Australia.
But we're in Finland.
It'd be in the north. I can't remember the name of the place.
But it's something similar, the igloos.
It's Norway or Finland is what I was saying.
Oh, okay, one of those two.
One of those two. So the igloos hotel or the 4x4 excursion.
Have you ever walked into anybody doing the deed?
Doing the deed, like wanking themselves?
Coitus.
What?
Coitus.
What's coitus?
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard that word. Is that when they're wanking themselves?
No, coitus is sexual intercourse, my friend.
Yeah, that's why I say doing the deed. I kind of think like taking care of themselves. But actually,
or that too. I mean,
I think I have. I think it was my brother and one of his exes. I'm pretty sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because it was just like.
Was it awkward or were you like, hey guys, you need anything? Or
no, like I open it up, hey Nick, and then like the covers immediately. She's obviously in her bride like, hi. So I'm pretty sure I watched it.
Did you not knock first?
Well, I didn't think they were doing that. I was like young and naive, so I didn't understand.
But still, your parents should be like, Daniel, always knock before you enter.
I don't think they were home. That's why they were able to do that stuff.
Oh, if you could do anything in the world without fear of failure, what would you do?
I'd be a race car driver. Race car driver, professional race car driver.
But how can you fail there?
Like you lose money and you starve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't fail. Like I would become a professional rally racer or track racer. I don't know which one.
For people that don't know, how is it when you say rally racer?
A rally race car driver is like off-road racing in cars. You know where it's all-wheel drive thing, or like Subaru STI. How everyone's like, oh, 4x4, and but nobody ever does it. No, it'd be like racing around on mountains on the edge the whole time, like dirt roads. They're going like 100 miles an hour through a dirt road.
I think I've seen those.
Yeah, it's incredibly intense. A lot of people who know Ken Block.
Yeah, I don't.
Ken Block. Oh. People who know Ken Block, or if you look up Gymkhana, I think 4 or 5 is through San Francisco. That's a good representation of rally racing. He's racing through the streets, but the point is, well, he does like a lot of drifting and all that crap.
So rally racing, is it just in nature? It could also be like in suburban.
Yeah, they have rally cross where it'll be like through cities and then on a dirt road, or it'll just be through cities.
It's a combination. Okay.
Yeah, it's really popular in Mexico and Spain. It's extremely popular, and Sweden or Switzerland. Sweden. Europeans are very fond of it, and so are Latin Americans.
Okay. And what the professional? What else?
It'd be that professional rally racer or track racer, where basically I'd just be in like a Lamborghini,
but not NASCAR.
No, not NASCAR. No, I'd be like endurance racers. You know the race. Like my brother loves golf. I had a feeling
you were gonna say something with cars.
Yeah, my brother loves golf, and I don't see how he like Ferrari F40. Yep. Ferrari F40. It's like the first proper 8 would be the ultimate daily driver for me for a logistical standpoint, because it's a smooth ride, really nice overall acceleration. The ride over a speed bump is almost non-existent, but Ferrari F-Type takes advantage of the comfort but throws in a lot of class and sport. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. I should be a car salesman.
I think you should. I think you could probably.
I almost got hired at a car dealership because of my explanation of a car part one day.
Just for a car part?
I was explaining how a car part worked. It was my mom. It was her most recent car. It's a Honda Fit, and it has what's called a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. And mom asked, the dealer was right there, and I was like, hey, I asked the guys, like, does this have a CVT or an automatic transmission? And he's like, it's a CVT, and what it is, I was like, wait, let me explain it to my mom, because like I can explain better. And so I told him, I was like, Mom, continuously variable transmission has no gears. It connects 2 pulleys that change dynamically, giving you the most optimal output given an input. And it was like, so basically you're getting the best horsepower and fuel economy at any given moment. And the dealer was like, you should be hired. How did you know it that well? I was like, at UTC, I actually designed one.
No, so. Yeah, actually, since you're very knowledgeable about cars, that's the reason why I bought my car, because you mentioned the Kia Optima, and then I just fell in love with it, and that's what I bought. I
asked a random guy at Waffle House too when you were looking at it. I was like, "Hey man, you like that?" And he's like, "I fucking love that car. It's the best car I've ever had." And so I was like, "Do it, Omar."
Yeah, and I did.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever thought you were gay?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I really did. I had like a gay thought. I was like, and then it went away.
Wait. What age was this?
High school.
Really?
I was like 15 or 16. I was like, can I be gay? Because I saw one of my friends like, man, that's a handsome dude. And I sat there, I was like, can I be gay? And I was like, I kind of like imagined me holding his hand, hugging. I was like, nah, I don't like it. So I was like, it was like a split second. It wasn't like
second. Daniel thought he was gay.
Yeah, it was open to the possibility of
either that or you
gay.
were very confident with your sexuality. You can point out that guy.
I'm at that standpoint in my life for sure.
Oh yeah, me too. If
I see a handsome dude,
it's like, hey man, yo, that guy's
Brad Pitt, Fight Club. Brad Pitt, Ocean's 11. Handsome dude right there. I can only think of Brad Pitt. I guess it's because like he's like super fit and everything. I was like, fuck, that's the body I want.
Really?
Yeah. Well, in Fight Club, if you saw his body, it's pretty good. He's like ripped, shredded, looks pretty built. He's still a little too skinny. Like I feel like I'm probably close to where he was now, size wise, but I don't have that tan that accents the body part. So,
who's your guy crush?
Guy crush.
No, this is just me asking. Just
yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Or somebody you look up like.
Oh, a person I look up to.
Yeah.
Oh damn. You know, I don't.
Or you
I guess. I mean, everyone would say this probably Elon Musk, just because his innovation. And
really, man.
Just because like his innovation and like his opinion on stuff. But actually, you know what? Person I looked up to, Joe Rogan. I say Joe Rogan. Like he's
a man of all trades. That's for sure.
Yep. I can relate to him on so many different levels, and I respect his desire for knowledge.
He was a fighter. Was he a fighter? Or
he fought for a little while. Now he's just an MMA commentator. He has his own podcast. He's a comedian. He's just like a knowledge-thirsty individual, and I love seeing people that are like that. They're always wanting to learn. He has a good opinion on things. He respects other people's opinions, challenges other people's opinions, while letting people challenge his opinions. He's like a well-rounded guy. I don't think anybody can meet him and not like him.
I have to say mine's The Rock.
Oh, dude. He's just like the perfect person.
Man, dude.
You can't say anything negative about him.
You really can't. That's why I buy all his clothes.
Or John Cena. Just because he's so kind to kids.
But you can't see him, though.
What?
You can't see John Cena.
What do you mean you can't see John Cena? Oh, wait, is that like a joke? Is that something that's been going around?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
John Cena, he was a wrestler, and one of his things was you
oh, can't see him?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why all the memes out there, if you see a John Cena meme, it's gonna be that.
Oh, see, that made sense because it was like John Cena working out, and there was like an empty gym.
Exactly.
I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Dude, Daniel, what era are you?
I don't know. I never watched WWE, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom and dad were like, no, you shouldn't be watching that garbage. They let us watch South Park about that.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch WWE. I just remember a friend back in middle school, that was his thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't. Oh my God, Daniel. That joke just went right through you. No, you're basically. What is your most embarrassing moment to date?
Most embarrassing moment to dating? Oh,
no,
okay.
Today.
Today?
Yeah, like as in.
I about threw up on one of my exes. Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name because I don't know how she feels about it. Can I think of a name? Call her Shania.
You almost threw up on her?
I almost threw up on Shania. It was when I found out that it was when I first experienced one of my anxiety conditions that I used to have. Sometimes I still have it. So I was at her house. I was with her parents and her dad was like, hey, let's go to Bojangles. And I was like, okay. We went to Bojangles. We ate, came back, watched Monsters, Inc. Towards the end of the movie, I started feeling like nauseous. I was like, what the heck's going on? I'm not feeling too good. I could feel something was up. So I basically I was like, hey, I gotta go. I'm not feeling much. She said, okay. So she walked me out to my car and about kissed goodbye, but right as we about kissed, I just threw up right past her face. She felt the wind on it. She felt the wind. It was embarrassing. She's like, oh my God.
You should have been like, you took it as a compliment.
Yeah, no, it was I gave her props. She took care of me. Like she gave me like Sprite and everything. Yeah, we didn't last. But yeah, that was probably the most embarrassing moment. It's just one of those stuff like that.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, I want one. I want to get a sleeve, but I need to get bigger. Otherwise, it looks weird.
Oh, what's one thing if your mom knew about you that she would freak out? That you voted for Trump?
No, I didn't vote for Trump. A lot of people think I did. I don't know why. They're like, "Oh, he likes guns, so he likes guns. He's white. He voted for Trump." It's like, no, I didn't. Ralph Nader. No, I didn't. Oh, in high school. Yeah, this is bad. Mom, just because my mom's a teacher, so she's not gonna like this. But I don't really care. She might not listen. She probably will though. Sorry, Mom. In high school, I had a C in Latin, and I'm sitting there. Josh isn't gonna like this either, because he's a teacher. I had a C in Latin, and I was so mad. I was like, because I didn't give a crap about Latin, and I was like, this is stupid, and I'm gonna not get hope because of this crap. So, she walks out of the room. It's the end of school. Her computer was still logged in. I changed my grades.
Oh shit!
I felt like I was I felt like I robbed the national treasure. I could have swore like it's like I'm ultimate badass.
Bro,
right
the
now.
balls on
Like,
that.
I was changing. I don't know. I was clever about it. I didn't change tests because she saves them. What did I change? Quiz grades, where I got 60s, 75s, bumped them to 83s, 87s, 92s, no hundreds, because she knows I'm not gonna get 100. I made it realistic. Pulled off with a B in that class, and I was like,
damn, dude.
I was sick. I was a sick motherfucker. I was a badass.
Man, I've never gotten the balls to do that. I mean, I've always saw the opportunity, but never. Man, that is awesome.
I was like, do I want to get chewed up by my dad, or I need to take a risk of getting suspended? I'm going to take that risk of getting suspended. Man, that's bullshit. No, I mean, I can't believe I did that.
I don't blame you. It's Latin. I mean,
who cares?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Were you able to get hope, though?
No, never got hope. I graduated with 2.88, and then in college, I had a stupid classmate. During one of my presentations for first year experience, the easiest class, he picks up his phone. It was a group grade though, so she gave us all D's, and so we all got D's in the class. So then I didn't get hope again. I never got hope. I had to pay for my college straight out of pocket every time. Damn. And that's how I got all those loans. So
poor Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your biggest insecurity?
Two things. They tie each other. I don't like my body weight. I've always been scrawny. I've never liked it, and I've luckily been changing that since I started working out, and I feel a lot better about myself. The other thing would be intelligence. I don't like when people, I guess it's an insecurity because I'm...
That they assume you're intelligent,
no,
or they...
I don't like when people assume that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a very cocky thing to say, but when people challenge my intellect, it's good to be challenged, but not in a negative context. For instance, my brother's wife and her friend, they're very smart, like with words and all that stuff, and I'm not. I don't know a lot of words. So usually, like, I won't know a lot of words. They'll say words, and I'll just be honest. Like you said, what is it? What was this? Coitus. Yeah, I was like, what's that? That happens all the time. But I don't know. I guess it's like the way they did it at one point. Like, I got mad. It was like, hey, what if I asked you about the stress in the beam structure right above us? You don't fucking know, bitch. I fucking know. You can't build a house, motherfucker. So you can't build yourself shelter. I was so mad. So I don't like being challenged on my intellect.
Unless it's,
criticism's good. But in a negative context, it's like, you're an idiot. People that call me an idiot, I get close to grabbing a brick and beating them over the face.
So basically just assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because I do the same shit. So it's very hypocritical of myself.
So basically on the same tub, what's one thing you would change about yourself?
Removing my insecurities. Change about myself. There's a lot of things I don't like about myself. I cut people off in sentences. I'm short to jump to conclusions. And I think I would make myself a better listener.
Bro, you sound like a chick.
No, better listener. No, I don't sound like a chick.
Jumping to conclusions.
Oh no, I'm totally a chick when it comes to that. I don't listen. It's like, oh, you can't do that. Okay, bye. No, but I'd say if I could change them all, or one of all those things, it'd be listening. Patience. There we go. Patience.
No, yeah, I've been losing. Yeah, patience was one thing I used to have, but now I have a short fuse too, man.
Yep. The thing that I also don't like is whenever you hurt yourself, do you get mad or do you go like, dang?
Yeah, that.
I get mad.
Because like, you hurt yourself?
Yeah, like if I stab my toe, I throw shit across the room. God damn it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like it's your own fault and you just get mad at it.
I get mad at the situation.
No, I completely. There's some things that I do get mad at, so I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
What do you like most and least about your personality?
Most is that I'm very sociable. I feel like most people can get along with me pretty well. If they can't get along with me, it's because I did something wrong, or maybe they're just a negative person overall. My least favorite is I feel like I need the center of attention sometimes. A lot of times, actually. You go to a party, I'm probably the loudest one there. Stupid. I hate it. And I'm not going to change.
So you would say, and would that be cocky, or would that just...
I don't think I'm cocky, because I'm definitely humble in a lot of ways. I can be cocky, definitely be cocky. But no, I just like thrive on center of attention. Like someone says a joke or something. Here we go. Sometimes when work recommends sending someone else overseas, I get jealous.
Really?
I'm like, why are you sending them? Even though I don't even want to go overseas.
Yeah, you told me like I really don't want to go overseas anymore.
But when they sent someone else, it's like I could have done that job.
Dude, I swear, I used to, like, in your past life, you were probably a chick.
Probably am one right now. For all I know, I just grew an extra appendage and assumed it was a penis.
I mean, nowadays you can identify as a chick, so you're okay.
I'm gender neutral, so I use the bathroom that everyone can use. So yeah.
Oh, at what age did you find the joy of masturbation?
Shit, I'd say like 14.
14?
Yeah, it's pretty late. I was a late bloomer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the youngest I ever heard was 8.
Jesus. I don't even know what to do at 8. I was looking at Pokemon cards.
Well, then again, I mean,
a lot of times it's accident. It's like whenever you...
Yeah, that's true. Because if you, I found about sex when I was in 3rd grade.
I mean, I guess you know what sex was, but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know
you
the
don't know
activity.
Yeah.
You don't know that it's like, okay, this is gonna go in there. Like me, I always thought it was, what was it? Kissing women back in middle school. If you kiss a girl, I thought they'd get pregnant. So I'd see people kissing. I was like, they're gonna get...
Really?
Yeah, I was stupid. And then at one point it was like, yeah, dude, because I'm gonna say his name because he's just a cool guy. I don't think he's gonna care. Jordan Brown. You remember Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to him. He was like, yeah, man, I just be afraid to like get a girl pregnant if I had sex, because this is when I learned it's like, oh, you stick it in, so on and so forth. It's like, dude, just don't pee in them and you're fine. I thought you just refrain from peeing, and then they can't get, fertilized. I thought your sperm was your pee.
So you're peeing inside, girl.
Yeah, like, just don't pee in them, man. I think it's gross. I don't know why you would in the first place. So yeah,
you should be a sex ed teacher.
Oh, I would have been the best one. Stick it in, have fun, don't pee. Then I always wondered, like, why do girls pee? But I never figured that out until I learned.
What's the craziest thing you ever done to attract a crush?
Oh yeah. So obviously, since I'm a Caucasian individual, me listening to Latin American music isn't a common occurrence. So when it was during my first semester in college, it's actually 2 things. First semester in college, I would see like some Hispanic chicks walking by, because I'm all about the Hispanic chicks, nothing else. It's just my preference. And so like I'd see them walking by, and then I'd like turn up reggaeton, and I'd roll down my windows and be like,
you give them the look.
Yeah, I give them the look. It never worked. But it did one time. Like I was like walking past some a table that I knew were some of my friends, and there was just like some random chick there, and I just like turned up that, and they're like, you listen to that? They're like, whoa, you listen to that? I was like, yeah, duh. And then and they're like, oh my god, that's amazing. How'd you do that? And then yeah.
Did you bust out the moves?
I did. Started dancing. They was like, oh shit. Once I say I can dance, they lose it. It's great. It's the best thing ever. They don't really lose it. There's like, no way. And I'm like, yes way.
Yeah, I bet you're used to all those.
Yeah, I'm used to that now. So now I got to figure out something else. But the second thing was I grew up my hair and I slicked it back. And I bet the guys that were sitting at the table was like, I bet if I grow up my hair and I slick it back, I can get a girl to go on a date with me. They're like, no. Lo and behold, I did. My hair was grown. I had it slicked back. I looked at one of our friends that was all a mutual friend. And then she was like, oh my gosh, like, you do something to your hair? I was like, yeah, why don't you come over here? She came over. I asked her on a date. We went on a date. Bam.
Dude, I cannot imagine you with slick back hair.
I love it.
From the moment you said that, I've been picturing.
It was great.
Oh man, I hope you
gel
have a
back and everything. I look so gay.
Stupid.
She loved it though. She loves it. She loves my long hair being long.
I really just can't picture with that.
No.
All right, what's the biggest romantic fail you've ever experienced?
Romantic fail?
Yeah.
I was in love with a girl. First time I experienced first crush love, not actually being in love. So, but I'm going to say in love for lack of better words, though I was not. So I was in crush love. There we go. With a girl named X. Yeah. Let's just say a girl named X. And so she was Vietnamese. And so I learned how to say in Vietnamese, I love you. And so I told her,
isn't that a little bit too strong?
It's a little too strong. Yeah. Lesson learned. That's why it's a fail. So I picked her up in my car and I drove her to where she needed to be. And I was like, hey, I just need to tell you something. And I was like, the word phrasing, you know how stupid it is? I-U-U.
I-U-U?
I-U, like ew, gross. I-U-U means I love you. It's gross.
Maybe she wasn't fluent in Japanese and she's
Vietnamese.
Like, Vietnamese.
She was. She knew exactly what it was.
Oh,
she was like, oh, it's nice.
Thank you, buddy.
We didn't hang out anymore. It didn't matter. I was a freshman. She was a senior, so I don't really care.
Oh yeah. At least
it was like 4 days later. I was just like, whatever.
Hey, you went for it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, what's one of your short-term or long-term goals?
Short-term goals is to be able to get out of the. I guess this is a short-term goal. Yes, get out of the 9-to-5 job.
Oh yeah. We were talking about.
Yeah,
that.
I guess every day that goes by, I start recognizing I'm not made for this. Wake up in the morning, go to work, come back home. I don't see the benefit of it. I guess a prime example is, what people say is like, oh, make the investment. You spend 30% of your life on your bed. Why don't you get the most amazing fucking mattress you can get? Makes total sense. Do the same shit for your job.
Yeah, because if you think about it, let's say you start working, you get out of college, at 22? Mm-hmm. And you work until you're 65. So most of your time is spent at a job.
Yep.
So why not do something you love doing?
Yeah. I would easily, and I'm not saying I don't like my job. I do like my job. There's tons of things that are great, but I feel like I'm meant for a lot more. There's no reason for me to be spending so much time in a place where I don't see growth. But okay, I'm not saying growth as in I want to be the VP. I don't care about that. Growth is in my life.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because for what you're working at, you can only do so much with what you have. Yeah. In your life. Yeah,
I want to diversify. There's a lot of moments. For instance, I just started the bit mining company. Another thing I want to do, I'd honestly like to open up a fab shop one day. One day where people just say hey man, I need custom headers for this truck. I'll design it, I'll weld it, and I'll give it to them. Or maybe someone says hey man, I need to speak to this French guy. I want to learn French. I want to learn Spanish. I want to learn as many languages as I possibly can. I want to read as many books as I possibly can. I've been reading a lot more, and it's so much fun now.
Would you leave your job to
do these things?
Yeah.
Depends.
Because that's sort of a safety net. That 9-to-5 is, let's say that's your comfort zone. In order for for you to pursue more, you're gonna have to leave that.
Yeah, no, there's gonna have to be a turning point where either I decide I am gonna stick this and this is my goals with this job, or it's gonna be I am going to leave this place and I'm going to move on and become what I believe is a better representation of who I am. And for that to happen, I guess I'm hindered by it right now just because I have student loans.
Basically, yeah.
Like the responsible side of me will never let me
let that leave without.
For instance, I like having the plan. Like the plan is like, I mean, if I see that I have these bills, I need to have an income to which that can fix those bills. If I don't have that income, I can't do anything, and I don't think it's responsible or appropriate for me to take those risks. But at the same time, I'm young and I can make a mistake like that, so take advantage of it while I can. So I don't know.
But at least you're branching out right now.
Yeah. The long-term goal would be moving to probably Montana, up in the mountains where it snows and all that stuff all the time.
But what would you do there?
What would I do there? Oh, it'd be the fab shop. I'd probably design custom truck parts.
So it's basically you're moving something. Obviously, you probably won't make. Well, you probably would make more. No, I'm trying to think. Because right now you're making pretty good money.
I'm making a comfortable amount.
Yeah. So if you move up there, cost of living definitely is gonna drop down.
Maybe it depends on where you move. There's some like hipster Montana places.
Yeah, but you wanna. No, that's true.
But it basically has to be to the point where like this podcast is so successful, or those other companies are so successful where I'm not even there anymore. And what I do on a regular basis is just hike nature, travel around the country, and not necessarily isolate myself, but become more isolated. And I'd like to, I say Montana, but I guess, I don't know. I like nature.
Just
I like be up in the mountains, wilderness, so on and so forth. I love doing stuff like that.
When you say, because I've always pictured Montana. You know, you wake up, you're in a tent. When you look, you know, the cliffs are, you know, you have the lake in the background, the mountains right there with the. Man, like, I've always wanted to see that.
When I was in Switzerland, the mountains, like, you know, people see a lot of pictures of Colorado, the mountains you're talking about in Montana. You never grasp the monumentalness of those structures until you actually drive next to one. And I'm talking, it's so tall that you have to look underneath the car windshield to see the peak sometimes if you can. And knowing that I'm going to be up there in a minute. And it's breathtaking. It's so jaw-droppingly beautiful and incredible. Like, pictures will never do the justice, as everyone says. It's such a cliche, but it's 100% true, because the accentuations of all the geometrical shapes that are offered by a mountainous structure can never be defined by an image. It's incredible. That was a really good phrase.
That was
that was really inspirational.
Everybody understood that.
Yeah.
I did 2/3 of that. I did. Oh, if you can make a wish right now, what would it be? Besides doing this all over again.
World peace. No, I just wish people would just get over themselves.
How so?
People need to recognize that there are much bigger things to worry about than other than oil, gaining power, so on and so forth. I guess the wish would be a more community-like lifestyle between the whole world. Recognizing that a meteor could come out of nowhere, and if we're not working together, we're not going to be able to blow it out of the water.
Oh, so you're basically just talking about, like, you know, climate change, water.
All that stuff. Just, like, every nation would just be like, oh, shit, y'all realize that we're just humans. We're not black, we're not white, we're not German. So, yeah, you're from this region, but if we give recognition to that, then we recognize a difference, and if we start recognizing differences, we can recognize complications. People would just recognize, like, we're humans. That's why I really do appreciate the thing that Elon Musk did, which was on the computer chip that was sent into space or something like that. It said, made on Earth by humans. That was fucking awesome. And that mentality should be enforced throughout the whole world. And I think I appreciate all these different cultures, and I think it's so unique to learn more about different regions of the earth and how this climate affects this, or how this arid place can affect these foods and this culture, because this is their religious belief. I was like, that's cool. But people just need to grow the fuck up.
No, it's true, because there's one place in Africa where the drought hit them really hard, that they're only allowed to use at least 2 gallons per person. and the average human wastes like 100 and something gallons a day.
Yep. Washing clothes. Took a shower just now. I'm pretty sure that was 5 gallons. I drank easily 2/3 a gallon today.
I mean, we take some of those things for granted.
I'm drinking an alcoholic beverage that enforces dehydration into your body, where the water used in this could easily save a life. It's embarrassing, and I still do it. But then again, at what point do you draw the line? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. No. But I guess the biggest wish you could say is I wish an alien race would just land on Earth. That would fix everything. Everyone would be like, forget our differences. We're going to be invaded. Problem solved.
What was it called? Independence Day kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Where is Independence Day? And everyone just work together. That's all that needs to happen. Once an alien race comes out, differences, problems in the world, gone.
Yeah, but man.
Temporarily.
Do you think there's aliens out there?
Nah, I'd be really surprised. If you think about it from a scientific standpoint, I don't remember what I'm going to say the Berg effect, and that's completely wrong. It's not the right name. The effect is not right, but it's the Berg theorem. Theorem's probably most right. If you were to start, the idea is self-replication, which is what people would do if we could actually explore the galaxy. We would self-replicate. We would put a robot that could land, self-replicate, and then send another robot somewhere else, and then it would send 2 robots somewhere else, and it would and we would eventually explore all the planets. We would have seen it by now if that was the case, because that's exactly what any race would have done, or at least that's the theory. They wouldn't just say, we need to go to this one planet. If they're actually in need, they're going to make a self-replicating system to where they can send it elsewhere, and they could find. And the only way you could find it is by checking everywhere.
That's true, but then if you think about it, I don't know if you heard the theory that, if you travel X amount, so many years pass here on Earth that they do it in space.
Mm-hmm. Say it again.
Okay, because I was watching it was this episode, and they were talking about space travel and time travel and all that.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we stay here on Earth, and then a couple people get on a spaceship and they travel, X amount of, miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Time is actually moving slower for them.
Yeah.
Than the actual people on Earth.
Yeah, that's the theory of relativity, meaning as you approach the speed of light, you age at a different rate because you're experiencing time at a different relative moment.
So 30 years for them would probably 1,000 for us. So
it depends on how fast you're going. You have to get really close to actually really see a difference, and the technology that is required to move at those speeds, we just don't understand yet. And that's where, once they understand more about Higgs boson, different dimensions, if you can see the reason being, if you wanted to move at the speed of light, we don't have enough energy in this entire universe to actually do that. To move an object at the speed of light, not a photon, I meant an object, like a proton, we don't have enough energy in this entire universe to actually cause a proton to shoot at the speed of light. In order to do that, we would have to access what's called another dimension. We would have to utilize this concept of another dimension. Once you do that, it's called time, basically. You have length, length, width, and depth. Those are the 3 dimensions we live by. If you had a 4th, time, that's where you can actually do that. And it's basically representing this timeline and viewing. I'm not good at explaining it, but it's basically viewing an object in time. So basically you would see the before, after, and end.
It's basically all it's like.
A really good movie to watch to understand this is The Arrival. It's on Amazon Prime right now.
Okay, yeah, I know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's basically, the thing is, once you, I don't want to give away, spoiler alert, whatever. Spoiler alert. And if you understand this language, you understand how they perceive time. Time can be observed from beginning to end in one instantaneous moment.
Imagine if you can do that.
I would be terrified. But I could see a lot of benefit to it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Like, the movie ends well because she learns the language.
And is able to prevent a catastrophe of world worlds, like nukes going everywhere. So you wouldn't say it's seeing into the future. It's just...
No, it's seeing into the future.
Okay.
Like, you experience the timeline. Like, you know what's going to happen.
So basically you have...
Yeah.
You can see into the future.
Yeah. And I think dreams are Like, this is one of the theories. Dreams are our way of accessing an alternate dimension. Reason being,
I'm thinking it's just you're self-conscious.
You think it, like a lot of people think, but I think it's our way that we're able to perceive another dimension. For instance, you have a lot of dreams that are obviously vivid where you're flying through the universe. There could be, if you have this multiverse theory where there's unlimited universes, because if you can find 2 universes, you can find infinity universes. There's no reason why two universes.
Yeah, you limit yourself.
Yeah, so there could be a universe where you can fly, where trees are purple, or blah, blah, blah. But have you ever experienced a moment where you know you've dreamt it? Like, you start living it, and you're like, I've seen this before. I know exactly where I'm at. This is exactly what happened.
Like a deja vu kind of thing?
Yeah. I think that's our moment of recognition, of recognizing the alternate dimension, a 5th dimension.
If you haven't seen the movie, you should watch Deja Vu.
Yeah, Deja Vu is pretty good. What's the other one? Interstellar is a good way of understanding it because it's a 5th dimension.
But that's usually your time and gravity and all that.
Yeah. Time and gravity, yeah. But that's what it is, though. That's like accessing that alternate dimension. You've seen it before. That was the 4th dimension. That's time. You've experienced that access at that point, and so you are actually reliving a moment you have already foreseen. That's a theory of mine. I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell.
about time travel and future seeing and all this other stuff.
And I'm such a, like, there's so many other people that could explain it so much better. So.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I want to end it off. Daniel do you think Daniel from 10 years ago would be proud of the current Daniel?
Daniel right now wants to beat the shit out of Daniel 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
No. The question is, do you hate your 10-year-old?
Oh, no, I think he'd be impressed. Yeah, definitely. Knowing where I'm at right now, he would never see it. But then again, he'd also probably question is like, hey, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why didn't you become a surgeon? Why didn't you do shit like this? Like, you're still living at the home that you grew up in. So I guess it'd be a bittersweet moment at the same time.
But then again, you're pimping the place out, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sell it, get rid of this place, make money. That's what it's always about.
And what is it? The question you wanted to ask?
Oh yeah, I was like, what do you think about this stupid Tide Pods crap? People eating it. Do you think, like, who was it? There's a mother that's suing Tide to change the way it looks, so it looks less like candy.
No, actually, in New York, they're trying to pass legislation, make them, less, appealing to, because it's not just, teenagers, it's, old people with dementia, little kids.
Wow. Oh, see, because at first I thought it was like teenagers.
I mean, it's been happening in the past, just right now it just got bigger due to stupid people.
Oh, okay.
The teenagers going in.
See, that's what I thought, and so
but there's actually older people actually doing that, and little kids doing that. But I mean, when you think about it, there's plenty of warning labels on the packaging already. I mean, there's so much they can do.
Yeah, there's that's honestly, like, when I heard that people were doing it as I thought they were banning it because kids were doing it as a YouTube thing, just trying to get more views, and so I sat there, I was like, let them do it. Like, it's thinning the herd.
Yeah,
like, I don't care. Yeah. They want to do that.
Social Darwinism.
Yeah, this is natural selection going on. Let them do it. But I never thought about. I figured once you mentioned kids, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I never thought about dementia patients who sit there. The colors are appealing to them. I was like, oh, that's fine.
Yep.
I think it would have spit it out right if they bit it though.
I mean, they do have like chemical, for bitter. Yeah, it tastes better, so it does. Because you don't want soap that tastes good. So that's why it's nasty. But it's just people are just it blew up because obviously social media and all that. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons. But yeah, it's stupid.
That makes sense. And then the other thing was talking about, I guess, that Logan Paul stuff, because that's where it came about.
Which one? There's been.
He tased a rat not too long ago.
It all started with him, obviously going to Japan, mocking the culture, and then the suicide forest. Then he apologized. He took a 3-week hiatus. Then he came back, basically made a video where he said sorry and talked to the guy that survived falling from the Golden State Bridge, I think.
That's cool.
So he's like the one in X survivors, and he talked to him in his video. And after that, that's when he started tasting dead rats.
Was it a dead rat?
Yeah, it was a dead rat.
Oh,
I think it's what's it called. One of his dogs brought it to him or something like that.
So he tasted a dead rat. The rat was already dead.
Yeah, the rat was already dead.
So really, he just has a mind of a 7-year-old.
Basically, and that's when
YouTube
decided to pull all of the ads from all his videos and
all that. It's a lot of money. It says like $1 million a month or something like that.
Yeah, he just on ad revenue itself.
That is awesome. I need to make that money. Just like and subscribe. You have to. I think I read up on it. You have to get 10,000 views overall.
They're gonna change it now.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be much harder for
back 100,000 views. Which gets I'm screwed.
At first it was 10,000, but yeah, they changed all their, all their things, because YouTube's been in the spotlight for negative reasons lately. I don't know if you heard about them. What's it called? Shows for little kids.
Yeah, I've seen. I know. I've seen a lot of little kids watch YouTube channels that are kid shows.
Yeah, but that's not the thing. Some shows on there weren't really kid appropriate. They were appealing to kids because kids just click on it and they just watch it.
Clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait basically. And these channels they're getting millions and millions of views, and it's basically just, let's say one of the videos was Frozen characters and they're getting killed. Or they're having it doesn't, let's say, softcore porn kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah, with lewd actions, things like that. And you have little kids watching all this stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they went through a big controversy and they had to shut down a couple of.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're trying to push away any kind of negative. That's why they cut.
Well, at which point do you blame the YouTube channel, or do you blame the parents for letting their kids click on it?
Well,
or letting their kids have their own iPad at such a young age.
If I had kids, I don't think I would, give them.
Block a site.
You can, but then you really don't think about, that kind of content being.
You don't.
In the kids, it's like how Netflix has its kids,
Yeah.
And just randomly the show like that pops up, and you wouldn't expect it. I think it's more of the people, the scummy ones, that take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That appeal to kids and put that type of material out there.
So that's just the money mind in there.
That's basically what it is. Because if you think about it, they're making millions and millions of let's just say they're getting views. They have thousands of dollars worth of ad revenue, and you just.
That's what they get with a lot of clickbait stuff, because I watch Joe Rogan podcast and. And they'll like take a snippet image from one episode. It's like, Joe Rogan's mind blows up once he finds out this fact about flat Earth, and you see his face like, and then like it's got like 1 million views, and it's gonna be someone saying blah 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 blah, and it's not even gonna have Joe Rogan in it.
Exactly, just clickbait.
It's a good idea. Whoever thought of these things? And they're saying like the revenue of like most income is coming from social media now. Most revenue, most wealthy individuals are because of social media.
I don't know if you're too much into YouTube, but that's what I watch most of the time, YouTube. And there's some YouTube creators on there that make quite a bit off just. Now it's gotten some creators. It's gotten a little bit tougher on them because YouTube is being more strict.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying not, because a bunch of companies pull off their ads off of YouTube because some of their products were placed like on sites that had like, let's say, ISIS and things like that were being shown on there, and they don't want any. That's why they pulled. But yeah, but they make quite a bit off the ad stuff.
That's crazy.
But some of them had to go to a third party kind of thing in order to support and keep growing their channel.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, if you're one of the first people to have a channel, like I think PewDiePie, it's one guy I've heard of. He's one. He was one of the major creators.
Like
one of the first ones, yeah. Like if you're one of the first creators and like one of the first makeup artists, like the first people to do makeup tutorials, you just have tons of views because you were like one of the first. It's just grandfather law that you just build it. I'm positive that's how Logan got his start, or
Well, you think about it, Logan was actually a Disney kid. And
he was?
Yeah, he was Disney, and then he got on YouTube, and that's where he
so what
kept
happens
on.
to those Disney kids, Mariah? What's her name? Miley Cyrus.
She's settled more down, don't you think?
I think she's cool now. It's like she just doesn't really care anymore. She's made so much money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, same with this kid. I mean, it's all these kids that have all this money, they don't know what to do with.
I mean, at what point, like, what's it like to be a kid and to actually be able to buy what you want? What would you get?
Yo, that's crazy. Actually, one of the biggest ones is actually a little kid. He's probably like maybe 7. Mm-hmm. He all he does is opens up toys and reviews them.
I heard about that. You know, he donates every toy he opens. It's the coolest shit ever.
Yep, and I mean, a lot of people, why they think the parents are bad because they think they're exploiting their child or anything like that. But they're really nice. They said that if he wants to do it, they'll do it. If he doesn't, they don't. So I mean,
I think that's reasonable.
But his trust fund must be
it must be incredible. Like, you don't have to worry about college at all.
I don't think he even would go to college if he wanted to. He has so much money. I don't think he would.
If I could do anything, I would go to college for the rest of my life. I would learn for the rest of my life. Just learn. Because that's the most exciting thing for me to do. It's really stupid, but it is cool.
I don't know, man. I think I'd probably take that money and leave a life of luxury, travel places.
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably do that too. Maybe a combination, like learn and travel.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can learn and travel at the same time, but
not to fly on a private jet one day. Just say I did it.
I mean, yeah, you could own one if you wanted. Imagine having all that money, man.
So the owner of the company, he's got two
jets.
2 jets, one for work and one for himself.
Personal and job.
Yeah, but you write that off as a business expense. Both of them. I had to buy it. I don't know if he did, but just saying.
Jet fuel's expensive. The hangar.
He's got a on-call pilot. Like his job, the pilot's job is to be ready to fly whenever. He flew back and forth from like Chattanooga to the Bahamas for his wedding. He flew there like 12 times because he had to fly back, pick up people, take them because they couldn't all fit on the private jet.
But think about the anxiety of being an on-call pilot.
Jesus Christ, we gotta go now.
Like you're not just doing anything. All of a sudden you get a call. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. I don't know. So I don't think I could go be anywhere that has me on call.
Well, I'm pretty sure like you could ask time off. Like, hey man, I need to go on vacation right now.
Oh yeah, I mean vacation, but being on call like all the time.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't. I mean, I want my 8 hours of sleep. I don't think.
Oh God, no. No, if I don't get 8 hours, I'm sick. Like I get sick. I'm like, ugh.
See, that's why anywhere that has me on call. See, yeah. That's why surgeons are on call all the time. I don't think I can do that, man.
Damn. Yeah, I can do that. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're like raised up in it, like if you started out of college, you just get used to it.
Yeah, you got a point.
Maybe, but there was one point like in college because I had 3 jobs at one point. There was one point where I stopped and it started fading out, and I just started thinking, like, there's no way I could do that again. Not a chance. Like, wake up, go to school, go work at Ace, go clean a bank, cook at a bar, get home at 2 a.m., shower, wake up at 8 and do it again.
How long did you do that for?
I did it for like a year and a half. It was horrible. I had no life. Like, remember when I went to Panama City with y'all? That was the first vacation I had taken since high school.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'd never gone anywhere else. I didn't. I think other than I went to my brother's bachelor party, which when I got back in town, I went right to work.
Damn, dude.
This is what I had to do.
I can see why that's one of your proudest moments.
Not doing that anymore. That's my proudest moment. Growing out of it.
I mean, at least you say you did it yourself. Most people won't even go to those lengths.
No. That's the thing.
And I think people, when they see you, they wouldn't think you actually went to those lengths.
Oh, no. Nobody thinks it. I get a lot of assumptions. That's something that bothers me a lot too.
Yeah, that's daddy's or mommy's money.
Yeah, it's like, or they assume just off just based off my skin color, they assume like, oh no, see this was all given to you. Oh, I slap motherfucking sense into those bitches every fucking time. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you're in a worthless job because you're worthless. It's like my parents raised me saying this is what's most important, so it was embedded for me from day one. I need to go to college. I need to get a degree, and I need to make this much money. if this is the kind of life I want to make. And luckily, I found a career that gives me all those options. So shut the fuck up, bitch. I go off on people.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you, man. Imagine you put yourself through college, 3 jobs and hardly any sleep and all that.
Oh no, and people don't realize this. I'm not trying to brag on mechanical engineers or anything, or engineers in general. Engineering is rated the hardest degree you can get. So any engineer that you meet, even if like their parents pay for everything, they worked for the degree. And even if like their parents pays for everything, they went to college and they graduated. Good job. And you know what? Some of those people are those these get degrees. I hate those stupid bitches. I dealt with plenty of them, and luckily I know them. So I like to hope I would work at like an engineering facility where they interview. I was like, hey, D's get degrees, right? Yeah, get the fuck out. That's why you're not getting a job today. Get out.
Oh, no, you would be one of those.
Oh yeah, I would. I there's so many people that would cheat on stuff. I mean, there were moments where I would ask help on homework all the time. Like I'd ask for help from teachers, so on and so forth. But I think, I'd copy some kids' work sometimes, but I never did it with stuff related to engineering. Did it with history, did it with English, did it with Spanish. I didn't give a shit about those classes. But if it was math or engineering, if I use someone else's answers, it's because we work together. Or if someone else used my answers, because we work together. Oh, and people ask, hey, man, can I see your work? No, I'm done.
Oh, man, I hated people like that. They want to just...
It's like, no, man, I'm
done. Show up and,
happens all the time. There was one girl that was in my class. She was one of the smartest girls I've ever met.
And this is in college?
Wise. Yeah. Oh, okay. She graduated with me, and she's probably designing nuclear weapons right now. She's so smart. I'm not saying it's a good job, but you get the point. And it was a bitter competition the whole time between she and I. I'd always lost. And one day, though, I remember it. It was like mechanical vibration. She got a 96. I got a 102. I was like, what's it like being a stupid retard? Get the fuck out of here. She was like, damn, that's the only test you've ever beaten me on. I was like, let me soak it
in. The first and last.
Yeah, it never happened again. She's so smart. She was really intelligent, but I think she just learned easily. I don't know.
Did you learn easily, or do you have to study?
It depended on the subject. Some stuff I could not grasp, and I would study hours on end. Math problems, I usually didn't have a problem with, just because I had that mentality, probably from my grandpa. He was a theoretical physicist and a mechanical engineer.
So that probably came.
Yeah, it's definitely genetic. My brother's a mathematician, and so it just passed down the lines. So, but when it came to like engineering and all that and learning how stuff works, that was really hard for me. I always was fascinated with it. I'd always take stuff apart. I could never put it back together because I never made sense to me, so I never did. And then eventually, like, I started learning how things work. There's like stages of engineering that my dad would always talk about. It's like when you graduate, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you know. You've just proven the competency to be an engineer. And then there's another phase where you know what you know, but you don't know what you don't know. Okay. And then there's another phase where you started learning what you don't know, but you've forgotten what you know. And then you have the final phase where you know what you know and you don't know. You know what you don't know. And he's like, that's the perfect engineer, because you don't jump to conclusions. You don't make the wrong choices because you know your limitations and you seek out the help you need. But you can make the right choices based on what your knowledge is. It's like, I don't know. That kind of like it's a whole tangled mess, but it made sense when he told me. And so I always like thinking about it sometimes. What phase I'm at?
What phase do you think you are at?
I think I've passed the part where I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. Where I kind of know what I know, but I know what I don't know, and I have no problem saying I don't know, man. You're going to have to look that up. I used to have a lot of pride issues with that. It's like, no, it's going like this. That's a genetic gene for my family.
People I think most people are like that.
Yeah.
They just bullshit everything.
Oh, if you met my family, everyone's a bullshitter. They said, like, oh, no, dude, I've read statistics on that. And I'm like, You read statistics on what? No, you didn't. Who reads that? And how did you remember that number? Saying like, I think it's like 30%. It's just like, no, he'd be like, no, it's 37.257% of African Americans are the ones that actually exceed the SAT. And it's like, how do you know that? You don't know that. I don't care if you're a teacher or if you're a social worker. No, you don't know that.
They probably just came out of that number out of nowhere.
Yeah, but they'll hold on to it. They'll sit there like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, even when they're shown,
even if they're wrong.
Oh, you'll show them the wrong answer. It's like it's out of date.
Oh shit.
Nah, I'm sure they'll get. It's like, oh, you know, well, what I read. It's like you didn't read though. Just say you didn't read. Just say you wanted to be right.
So Daniel's shade has been thrown towards your family now, huh?
Oh yeah, I can throw it at my family. I love them all though. They're all fantastic and unique in each individual way.
I mean, they all helped you out at some point, right?
Oh yeah, Nick helped me out. I mean, just making me laugh when I need to laugh. Josh was he was a good person to look up to when you just needed guidance in general, just with simple day-to-day stuff. Mom always gave me the best love and care that a mother could ever offer. Always supportive. If I told her, I was like, Mom, I just want to quit my job, she's like, then do it. Like, just do it. I'll be here for you. We'll get through it. And then if I wanted to do something, she's like, make that choice. Come on, go. She would always support it. And then my dad would always give me stern advice and would give me the hard truth even when I didn't want to hear it. He's a good man.
So that's a pretty good note to end on.
I think so. Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem.
Yeah,
man.
This was a good podcast.
Even if it was your own podcast.
I like it, man. This is cool. It's a good idea. Thanks for doing it.
And no problem anytime. Do you have any ideas who the next guest would be? Well, you said that you do. You just don't want.
I don't want to say it.
You just don't want to say it.
Yeah, people don't know, but there might be a podcast next weekend, and I'm excited about this person because this person has a lot of information to share about a historical event because this person was on a research project recently on this historical event. That is very broad and ambiguous.
So everybody stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.
See y'all guys.